morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today I am going to be giving a presentation on the role of social media shaping political engagement among young adults. My name is Christian Ham, this is Comms 3302, and this is my hypotheses and research questions. So for my research goal, my general goal is to explore how social media influences young adults' political engagement and participation. Social media obviously has been growing in the past few decades, well, most recently the most few years, and one of the biggest things we see on social media platforms such as X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, TikTok nowadays, we see a lot more social media influencers being much more political and the influence they have on young adults. The specific focus is investigating how different platforms impact the frequency and depth of political discussions among users aged 18 to 30. 18 to 30 is the age group that is most on social media, such as the previous apps listed. And just want to do some research on how influencers influence young voters. So my research questions is question number one: how do social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook differ in facilitating political discussions among young adults? Now, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, it's Twitter. Twitter more so comes along with videos and just text posts. Text meaning people can just type out and tweet their opinions or facts or whatever they please, along with videos of, let's say, a politician speaking, a campaign manager, a reporter, and they can use those videos to share their political beliefs to users. And my second question is to what extent does exposure to politically oriented content on social media influence young adults' likelihood of participating in political activities such as voting or attending rallies? This is a very complex and important question to ask because the amount of content you see and take in on social media, how are you going to use that in the real world? Because apps and all this stuff is fake fantasy land. But what you need to do is you need to get out and vote. You need to do your own research on certain candidates and other influencers. And how likely are you to be influenced to actually go vote or attend the rally, per se? Now, my hypotheses are, my first one: young adults who frequently use Twitter for political discussions will have higher levels of political engagement compared to those who use Instagram or Facebook. I believe because Twitter is more so a political space. News outlets, it's usually their go-to to get the news out first. Influencers, political analysts, the first place they always go to upload and post content is Twitter. And the engagement is, I believe, likely higher than Instagram and Facebook. Because Instagram, more so, you must have a picture, you must have a video, and caption your news. Twitter, you can just caption it in general, get it out there for the public, and then later on add your videos and context. My second hypothesis is increased exposure to political content on social media will be positively correlated with the likelihood of young adults participating in offline political activities such as attending rallies or voting. The amount of political content there is out there, it's very hard for me to imagine how those who take in certain content don't go out and vote. You know, no matter who you believe in, no matter what policies you believe in, if you're going to take in so much content and be that invested, I would believe that it correlates to you going out and actually voting and actually being a member of society. I don't. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry about that. Summary. So my research goal is focused on understanding the role of different social media platforms in shaping political engagement among young adults. It's very important to see how the young generation votes and how they plan to partake in society. My research questions examine platform differences and the extent of influence from politically oriented content, and my hypotheses predicting stronger engagement on Twitter and a positive correlation between content exposure and political participation. So basically, that's really it. Just to see how young voters are influenced by the content they take in on social media and how the social media is curated to show political engagement. So, I would like to get into what part of the chapter 5 was most interesting and what is the most difficult. The most interesting to me is the research questions. I think it's very interesting to come up with questions that don't provide a yes or no answer, because what's research? Just yes or no. We need to figure out why it's yes and why the answer is no. And coming up with those questions, and you can get very interesting answers that may back up your hypothesis or not. And that's something I find very interesting. My most difficult, I would say, is coming up with hypotheses. Now, obviously, it's opinion based, it's like just a prediction, but it seemed like there were many complex ways to come up with them. It could be very confusing for some, and someone like me, I find that a bit confusing, but I believe myself I'll be able to grasp on how to come up with hypotheses much more easily in the future. And the second question needed to be answered is, from my perspective, what are the meta-theoretical considerations and or research perspectives that are most influencing the research goal, questions, and hypothesis you created? I would say actually finding out how social media can influence voters and how much political content ages 18 to 30 truly take in, and how it actually affects polling and how it affects election results. I think that's the biggest goal in this study. So I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day.